as promised, I am here to talk to you about courses versus coaching. Which option should you choose? If you missed it yesterday, I was here on live talking to you about paid ads and why that may not be the thing you want to turn to see a change in your business and see a shift in your revenue. You can catch that replay over on Facebook and on IGTV. The day before, I talked to you about the path to full-time entrepreneurship and a lot of the lessons I learned and mistakes made along the way. I recommend watching these in order as there is a continuing pattern here, and you can catch those on IGTV and Facebook as well. Thank you all for tuning in. I am well. I hope you all are doing well too. I want to go ahead and dive in. I do have a coaching call right after our session. I don't think I planned my calendar very well, but that's okay. We're just going to dive into it. So I have my notes. You all know how this goes. Get your notebooks out, get your pen out. And if anything I say resonates with you, if you learn anything, if you have any aha moments, just do me a favor and share this out, okay? Feel free to take a screenshot and share this on your stories and on Facebook and wherever you have community. So let's talk about courses versus coaching. Is anyone that's tuned in or listening to this debating right now if you should actually launch a course or a coaching program? Feel free to let us know in the comments. I know earlier on when I was really trying to get traction on my business, I kept going back and forth. I wasn't sure which really made the most sense for me. And I definitely struggled, especially when it came to figuring out, will courses be the thing that really move the needle? Would it be coaching? And so I just want to walk you through some things you should be considering when you're weighing your options, okay? So first thing I want you to think about is who is your audience, right? And what kind of learning style does their lifestyle support? So when we are in the info space, we have to ensure that we are setting our audiences up for success, right? When you are in the info space, your track record is based on your client's track record, right? So you don't want to have a ton of programs out here, but they're not helping people do anything. Because at that point, right, when you're brand new, it's one thing to be brand new and not have any testimonials. It's another thing to be 10 years in the game and not have any testimonials, right? And oftentimes, it's not necessarily about your content or how you decided to communicate it. It's literally about, are you setting your clients up for success? Right now, the average industry course completion rate is around like 10%, right? Like most people tend to buy courses and not complete them, buy things and not fill them. So if you are brand new and looking to really build your track record and build your receipts, you may have a harder time doing that with courses simply because of human psychology and human nature, right? It may not make the best sense to get the results that you want. Now, let me caveat this and suggest that who I'm trying to talk to right now are people who are already experts, right? Meaning you either built your expertise with your education, with your experience in business, your experience in corporate, and you are already a proven expert, right? And you now have a passion for helping others. I am not the person who thinks everybody is meant to be a coach or a course creator. I just don't. I've been in enough really bad presentations to know that just because you have experience doing something doesn't mean that you're meant to teach other people. So I just want to say that I'm not the person that's trying to force everybody to be a coach or consultant. That's not my ministry or my lane. But the other thing I want you to think about when I say proven expert is I need you to have done the thing that you're trying to teach more than once. Okay, so if you started a new business last week making face masks and you made $5,000, that doesn't mean that this week you should be having a course on how to have a $5,000 week in the face mask business, right? The reason why is that as a coach, as a course creator, you have to be able to help your clients and your students prepare to navigate all of the different things that are going to come within their journey, whether that's health, fitness, life coaching, business coaching, money coaching, financial coaching. Like you have to be prepared for that. And I say this because it is now harder to sell courses in particular than it was before. Back in 2016, it was very easy to sell courses. That's why a lot of people got scammed. Let's be honest. That's why a lot of people got scammed. And that's why consumers, honestly, are way more skeptical today. And why we have to do a little bit more work to sell today, because there are plenty of us who are actually legitimate, who actually know what we're talking about, who can actually deliver. But we now have to overcome the barriers and the misconceptions that were created by the scammers in the beginning. So when I say I work with people who have proven expertise, I mean that. I don't want to create a bunch of people who know how to sell and they just want to stuff for the gram. I want to help people who know they have value to offer, but they need help packaging that up in a way that's impactful. So I wanted to clarify that in case anybody needed to click off the live. Okay? We don't sell dreams here. We're very honest, right? So now going back to weighing our options, we have to think about what is going to help our audiences learn the best and what's going to support their lifestyle. Now, some of you do have an audience or clients who courses do support their lifestyle because of maybe a work schedule or because of time. I know a lot of my clients tell me like, hey, I'm really glad that we have video material to supplement our learning because I'm always working when my kids go to sleep. So I'm up really late. I'm watching your videos, I'm doing my homework, and I know I wake up to a lot of emails of them with their homework saying, here, can you give me my feedback now, right? So really thinking about, does your offer actually support the lifestyle of the clients that you want to serve, right? Second thing I want you to weigh when you're making this decision is what is going to get the maximum results for the promise of the offer. Now, we talked about this yesterday, right? So we talked about yesterday how some people their offers just ain't it, right? Their offers they just lack that little extra razzle dazzle that's going to help you make that decision. And so we have to think about the fact that we have to make sure our offerings can actually back up the promise, right? And so when we think about like right now, if I'm thinking about how to go from being a multi-six-figure business to a seven-figure business, I know that nobody's course is going to help me do that. Not nobody's course. I already know that for that type of result, I need a high-end mastermind or a high-end coaching experience. Why is that? Because now the complexity has elevated. The goal has now shifted, and a lot of different things can happen when you're trying to make that jump, right? And so when you try to sit up here and say, I'm going to help you go from idea to six figures, and you telling me I can do it in 5 modules in 30 days, ma'am, where? Because if it was literally that easy, everybody would be doing it. So you have to think about, am I structuring this thing in a way that is going to get the maximum results of what I'm promising? Sometimes I'm just going to have to tell you, sometimes your program promise is going to require a coaching program. Sometimes your program promise is going to require that you hold your clients accountable in a different way. Sometimes your program promise means I'm going to have multiple touch points. I can't just sit up here and have a teachable account in a Facebook group, right? Sometimes you have to be a little bit more hands-on because of the purpose that you're serving, because of the calling that you have, right? You have to think about that. A digital academy or membership group may not be the best thing to help your clients get results. And I'm not suggesting that you can't have a course or a membership group down the line. You absolutely can. But we're trying to speed up our 3-year plan, 5-year plan, and do it right now. And we have no receipts. We have no track record. We have no traction. And what's worse, I'd rather you have nothing on your record than you having 100 customers who bought this course and who all hated it. Now they're talking about you, and now we got to figure out how to repair a brand. That is very, very difficult. That is very, very difficult. Okay? But I get it because courses are seemingly easy, right? Courses are, we sit down in front of our computer, we talk to the screen, we make some graphics in Canva, we make a raggedy workbook that all we asking people to do is reflect and think, y'all. And my clients know I hate those things. I always tell them, like, listen, I am not about to ask you to reflect. I need you to go and do, and then let me, audit what you just did, right? So it's seemingly easy. But when you're in the game of changing lives and driving results and changing perspectives, helping people shift their beliefs. I have a client right now. We're working through a building life coaching program. We're trying to help women overcome trauma. We can't do that in no 30-page workbook. Where? Where? Right? We have to be honest. See, some of you are still ducking and dodging the calling that God has placed on your life. You are still ducking and dodging the gifts that are inside you. And you're still ducking and dodging the fact that the way you need to serve is going to require you to be visible. It's going to require you to have a platform. It's going to require you to show your face. It's going to require you to have people count on you, lean on you, and depend on you that you don't even know. I know I struggle with that too. I was like, I don't want people to like depend on me. I don't want them to call on me. I want to be behind the scenes. I want to stay back here. I just want to like write website copy and resumes and LinkedIn profiles and just sit in the back. But the calling on my life is bigger than that. I'm meant to serve in a different capacity, and many of you are too. And so what I want you to do is stop wasting your own time, right? Stop wasting your own time. Stop sitting there recording them videos and really answer the question, what's going to get the maximum results for the promise of the offer? Okay. So the next point I want you to think about is, have you vetted your frameworks with enough people to know that they work? Here's the thing with courses, right? Because I do have a couple of courses. Okay. A lot of my courses, I don't even fully sell. I just like give them to my clients as like bonuses, right? I know a lot of you right now are in my side hustle success course. Y'all are loving it. I've already received a ton of DMs from people who started the course last week, and they're still tripped up over the mindset module. They're like, girl, you got me together just right then and there, because I know perspectives have to shift, beliefs have to get eliminated in order for this to even, make sense to you, right? And so what I want you to think about is courses are built off of frameworks. They're built off of roadmaps. They're built off of curriculum. They're built off of objectives, right? Think about when you went to college or high school, right? And you went to your college, algebra class. Like they teach you a set standard of principles, right? Because these principles have been vetted over years, right? They know that these are the things that work. If you're going to put together a course, you're basically putting together frameworks, paths, roadmaps that you know actually work. You can't do that if you don't know if they work. How, Sway? Just because it worked for you doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for everybody else. You haven't vetted it with enough people, right? You haven't vetted it with enough people. I did private coaching for 4 years before I even created a group program because I wanted to vet. And part of vetting your frameworks means you're going to have a couple of one-on-one clients that things go a little bit left for them. Things don't go the way that's planned, so that you can work with them through that, right? Because you have to be prepared for any and everything that can go wrong. But instead, what can happen is with your one-on-one clients, you aren't actually taking the time to get specific enough with who you serve. So you're getting a little bit of everybody, and you're constantly customizing everything, and you don't actually have a framework to begin with. And that's why you're trying to turn to courses, but you haven't actually done the proper legwork, right, to even create a framework. You don't have any intellectual property. You don't have any thought leadership. Talk about a lot of the same things over and over again. Talk about messaging, positioning, and packaging. Those are frameworks that I stand on, that my programs are stand on. And so Ashley just asked on Instagram, how do you test your frameworks? You do that with one-on-one clients. Here's why. If you get 20 people in a course, right, and you roll out all of these frameworks, and a lot of them are stuck, tripped up, having issues, you can't just decide to add another 3 months to that course and throw out all the modules and start over. Like, no, you have to stick to the course. But when you're doing one-on-one, right, you stick with the client till you help them, right? Now, this is completely different than if a client doesn't show up for themselves, or a client didn't do the work, or a client is late. At that point, you can't take liability for that. But what I'm saying is, if you have a one-on-one client who is showing up and doing everything that you told them to do, and they're encountering roadblocks or issues or things like that, you stay with the client. I'll give you an example. I have a client who owns a spot in Atlanta, and we had a delay with what we were working on because she bought a new building, right? So we needed to incorporate that, and there was a couple of little things that happened, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna support you for an extra month at no additional cost, because it's important to me to see that we get the results we talked about. And I know that the issue that we're delaying is not your fault, and it's not my fault. It's just timing, right? When you have one-on-one clients, you can do that. When you have one-on-one clients, you can stick with them. You can add on, you can test and try, you can pivot, you can stick with them. It's hard to do something like that with a big group of people or with a course. That's how you vet, right? When you say, I can help people achieve this particular goal, right? That one particular goal, you create your roadmap for how that goal needs to be accomplished, right? You work with a lot of different people through that until you start to do what? Build a track record. You have to collect data. Who remembers science class in high school? Right? Y'all remember chemistry, physics, where you had to run several experiments in order to collect data to then support the hypothesis that you developed? I say this all the time. Business is a series of experiments until you find the right formula that works. But if you waste your time, because I'm going to be honest with you, building a course takes a lot of time, right? You waste your time building out all these videos, all these workbooks, all these templates just to find out it don't work. You done wasted your time, the client's time. Child, it's too much, right? So I'm just throwing it out there for you. You have to vet your frameworks with enough of your target market to know that they actually work. The next thing I want you to think about when you're weighing, should I do coaching or courses, is, do you have an audience yet? This is where I got to be 100% honest and blunt with you. In order to make money with courses, you need an audience. You need an audience, right? Because you're going to need to be selling to a massive group of people for that mass amount of enrollment that you're going to want to get to hit your revenue goals, right? Because most courses, cheapest tends to be $100. I've seen some courses go up to $2,000, and those $2,000, $3,000 courses tend to be way long with Facebook groups and office hours. And hell no, I didn't receive no loans. Girl, I don't qualify for none over here. The government is like, you still owe us money, honey, okay? Anyway, someone on Instagram was asking about these loans and government assistance, and no. But anyway, you're going to need a massive audience to hit that, right? And so you can't come out of the gate necessarily. And I say necessarily because this is going to be case by case. But typically, when you're trying to sell a $2,000, $3,000 coaching program, you already need to be up here with your brand, right? That means you already need credibility. You already need to have trust. You already need to have a lot of testimonials, a lot of receipts, a lot of clients saying that, hey, you killed it, you did that, right? Because again, people are paying a higher end price tag for basically pre-recorded content in a Facebook group. Let's just be honest, right? Unless it's a mastermind. But when it comes to coaching, people actually expect coaching programs to be higher ticket and higher tier because of the nature of the service, right? It's literally, we're on the phone, we're on Zoom, we're working through things. Maybe you're meeting people in person, maybe it's a VIP day. Those things just naturally, because of the delivery mechanism and how they're structured, tend to be higher ticket, which theoretically means if you weren't afraid to charge higher ticket, you could hit your revenue goals by servicing 4 or 5 people a month versus having to try to convince 50 people to now enroll in your course. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense for you, right? And so this is what we have to kind of break down. Like, I tell people that, do I feel like you need a large audience to be successful in business? No. Do you need a large audience to start a business? No. Do you need a large audience to make money and hit 5 figures? No. But what the caveat to that, though, is it depends also on what you're trying to sell. Because if you're selling a kind of product where you need mass enrollment, you literally by nature now need a massive audience. It's just literally how it works, right? It's literally how it works, right? And then I also throw into, let's have a money conversation, right? Because yes, we're walking in our purpose, and yes, we're called and we're passionate, but just because we're called and we're passionate doesn't mean that we shouldn't be paid for our smarts. We shouldn't be paid for our expertise, and we shouldn't be paid for our time. So honestly, how fast do you want to make money? Because you could be all year trying to make money with this course, but you could make money with coaching relatively quickly, right? So just some things to think about. So I've given you 4 to 5 questions to answer when you're weighing, should I do coaching? Should I do courses? Right. And so now I want you to think about that next step around, what should you be, thinking about or implementing when creating either a course or a coaching program. So the first thing I want you to think about is, what specifically are you trying to help someone accomplish? This is going to help you for both offers, because either with the course or with the coaching program, I'm going to continue to say this. You have to be specific. Generic things don't sell. General things don't sell. Things that just sound good in theory don't sell. It has to be specific. And honestly, the more specific your promise, the easier it will be to attract the right people. Okay. Also think about what tangible outcomes can they expect, right? And so being able to actually illustrate, provided that you show up, provided that you do the work, that you're on time, you show up at X, Y, and Z, here's what you can expect to gain from this, right? And I want to talk specifically to like my life coaches, my mindset coaches. I see a lot of you struggle with this because it might not be a tangible thing, right? So when it's like, oh, I'm a business coach, obviously help you make money, I help you get your Instagram followers, I help you do X, Y, and Z. But with those other things, those tangible outcomes are really just going to look like, what new outlooks will they have? What new perspectives will they have? How will they now show up differently in life, in relationships, in the workplace, in their business? Really starting to think through like what kind of pain and turmoil are they experiencing now? And once those pains are eradicated, what does that new bright horizon look like? So really building out the specifics around what they can expect. And so some questions coming in from Facebook. Chris says, you consider the title mentor and coach to be different? Absolutely. Mentoring and coaching are not necessarily the same thing. For a little bit of time, I was labeling one of my programs as like mentor coach just because I know my audience, to be honest with you, at that time, my audience didn't really know the difference themselves. And so they would say, I want a mentor, but they were actually asking for a coach. And so it was more of a like, let me speak in a language you understand. But mentoring tends to be different because at least when I was in corporate America, mentorship was all about a relationship. It was all about like a mentor picking you. Honestly, you building that rapport. There being a give and take on both parties. So both the mentor and the mentee adding value, and the mentor and the mentee really driving that, right? But in coaching, coaching is all about an actual tangible outcome, right? You don't come to me for coaching because you like me and you enjoy me. You come to me for coaching because you like me, you enjoy me, but you also want me to help you achieve a specific goal, right? You want me to help you solve a problem, right? Like I've never had anybody enroll in a coaching program because they just want to be around me. Right? That's just not how it works, right? Coaching is all about a very specific outcome, right? And then Tony asks, when you start with coaching, do you start with one area of expertise? Absolutely. And I know it's hard because I know all of you are talented and blessed and gifted and you can do all of the things, but you do need to start with that one thing and build your brand. If you start off with too many things, it's hard for us to remember you. It's hard for us to know you. And it's hard for people to actually refer you. So start off with that one particular thing. My business started years and years ago with one core expertise, which was actually LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn is the thing that set me apart from other resume writers because I'm like, hey, I can do your resume and I can also write your LinkedIn profile so that you stand out, network, get the job. And I was really, really good at it. I built traction, I built receipts. Somehow, being amazing at LinkedIn is what led business owners to start calling me. They called me. I didn't decide I wanted to work with business owners. They called me and said, help me, right? And that's how things pivoted for me many, many years ago, right? So again, thinking through, what's that one thing you have the most power in? Like, what's your power? What's the maximum impact? And I will be honest with you, people who come into my one-on-one programs, my coaching programs, the first thing we work through is clarity because I would say 60% of them end up pivoting. They end up pivoting what they want their platforms to be. So they think the platform is supposed to be this. We do a little bit of a discovery conversation and a deeper dive, and we realize that their true power is underneath that. It's something completely different. Mind's blown, right? And now we're working with some magic. So that is a gift that I have. I'm not going to lie. I'm a toot my own horn. I do have a gift where I can help people uncover like that thing that they're really afraid of, but they know that that's their true power. So that's something, if you do decide to work with me at some point in your life, we will talk through, we will go through. Okay. So we talked about tangible outcomes. Also, again, transformation. What will life after working with you look like? Because you have to give people a reason to enroll. Like, I feel like a lot of online coaches have drilled into your heads, pain points. And yes, that's important. Yes, that is major. But that's not it, right? I mean, if all you selling is misery right now, you damn near bullying people to be your client because of their lives are so miserable, but you've never really painted the picture of, well, what's going to be the promised land after? When I get through the misery, when I make the uncomfortable leap of enrolling in your program, when I put some skin in the game and I enroll and I show up, what's going to be my reward at the end of the day? We're leaving that out, right? My financial coaches, where y'all at? Right? You out here reminding people of how much they in debt, how bad they suck at money management, how they can't afford to go nowhere. Then you say, well, in my program, I'm going to make sure you scale back and cut back, and you ain't getting no nails done. You're not getting your hair done. You're not getting no Starbucks. So all you've sold me is my miserable situation and how painful it's about to be to work with you. But you didn't sell me, hey, after the program, you're going to have a really amazing credit score and be able to get the properties that you desire. You're going to be able to save up to pay for your kids' tuition in full. You'll be able to go on vacation once a quarter anywhere that you want because you're going to have this really great savings. You're going to have an emergency fund so that if we ever have another situation like a pandemic, you're going to be fine. You're going to have all of these great things. It's like you're not selling me my financial freedom. You're only selling me hell. I know my situation is bad. I don't need you to yell at me. And you can tell I'm very passionate about this because I hate when people bully y'all in marketing. That pisses me off so bad. I'm like, if you got to bully people to buy from you, you are not an expert, period. I ain't never had to tell somebody that they wasn't good enough or they wasn't good at what they were doing to get them to buy in my program. I'm telling you, I can help you be better. I can help you have more impact. I can help you have more power, right? I can help you reach more people and I can help you sell at a higher end price point, but I don't have to sell you misery. Please don't do that. And if you do that, don't tell nobody I taught you because that wasn't me. That was somebody else. That was somebody else. That was not me. Okay. So what is life going to look like after you? You have to spend time thinking about this, right? Because it's not going to be that simple. You're not going to be able to easily just rattle this off in 5 minutes. You really have to really think through all of the things that are going to change for your client. And newsflash, future coaches, there are also going to be transformations that occur within your client that has nothing to do with the promise of your program. Here's an example. So in my mastermind group, I work with people on creating their first high-end signature coaching service, right? And so the transformation obviously is that there's more clarity, you have clearer messaging, you're positioned as an expert online, you can stand out in your industry, you have a high-ticket service, you act and you know how to sell it and fill it to hit your revenue goals. So those are clear transformations. But other things that happen, my clients get more confident. Their money mindset is elevated, right? They have a clear visual for their future. They're able to envision things they couldn't see before, right? They have a deeper connection to their purpose. They have a little bit more motivation and more drive because now everything makes sense for them. So those are things that I'm also going to talk about in my sales page, in my marketing content, and also in my sales calls because nobody really talks about this out loud, but deep down, we all want to change. Deep down, we all want to elevate and grow our mindsets to be the best versions of ourselves. We all know that we have some untapped potential within us and we want help getting that, but we're not going to say it. So when I talk about the fact that, through these frameworks and through this experience, provided that you choose to show up and you choose to be okay with being uncomfortable, right, there's going to be a full 360 shift on your life and your perspective. But you have to sit down and think about this. Think about what really has to change and shift in your clients in order for them to have this kind of experience, right? And so essentially to wrap this up, one of the last things I want you to think about when you're building either a course or a coaching program is you have to build out your frameworks. And a very easy way to build frameworks is this. What are the exact steps your clients need to take to get from point A to point B? And when I say exact steps, I mean every single one. Do not leave anything out. Do not combine steps 4 and 5 because the list is too long. When you start to skip steps, because hey, you're the expert, so you don't necessarily have to do all of this anymore. You need to write down every single thing. Every single thing. Stephanie, the answer to that is no. I feel like mid-sized services are, what's the point, right? Like, what's the point? What's the point? We're going to pay you now so we can pay you again later. Like, you might as well come out of the gate with the most impactful premium service you can. What's the point, right? In all honesty, the real question is, why do you feel like somebody needs to experience you first in order to commit to your premium offer? If your messaging is clear and your promise is clear, why? Plenty of people who've worked with me, their first investment with me was $2,000 up. There's people who paid for my programs in full who've never even bought a digital product and don't want to. Don't need to, right? Because the brand is strong, the content is strong, the consistency is there, the messaging is clear, the packaging makes sense for what they want, the brand promise aligns with their deepest desires and needs. And I've shown up in the way that I've needed to command the price point that meets my authority. I am not playing small. When you decide to hide behind low ticket offers, mid ticket offers, bargain bin pricing, you're hiding behind your potential, and you're hoping that they see your potential in these low ticket things, and if they volunteer to give you more money. That's not how it works. No one's going to say, I really enjoyed this $100 class. Can I give you $5,000 now? They're not going to say that. That's not how the world works. In fact, I'll tell you, if you give away all this amazing free content that's just life-changing, you never do a call to action, you're never going to get paid because they're not going to volunteer. They're not going to send you Cash App donations afterwards because you preach so good. It's not how it works. It's not like church. At church, pastor do good, he get more donations. But that's not how commerce works. In commerce, you have to say, this is what I can do for you. This is what the investment is going to look like. Is this something you're ready to commit to? Are you ready for true change? Also recognizing that everybody's not going to be ready, right? Everybody's not going to be ready. Some people are going to need more time. That's okay. But that's why we're not playing the volume game, right? In coaching, you don't even have capacity to serve 20 people in a month anyway. If you work with me, you don't, because I'm building you a real coaching program. And real coaching programs, you can't have a ton of people in them, right? You just can't for the quality of servicing them. But that's why your price tag has to align with the brand promise, because if the price tag aligns with the brand promise, you can command a higher price tag, which means you need less clients to hit your revenue goal every month. I told you guys yesterday, the revenue goal I had for this month was hit by the 10th, and I hadn't even started marketing yet. Right? Don't you want that? Like, where it's like, oh, anything I do now is extra? Okay, let me get off the couch. Let me stop playing. Let me get out here and do something, right? So I don't want you to hide behind it. I don't want you to tell yourself that you have to do something cheap first in order to prove your value. You can prove your value through your free content. You can prove your value through your live streams and your podcasts and your blogs and your emails. But you have to give people an offer worth investing in, which is why I've been telling you over the last 3 days, you have to do this back end legwork that people don't necessarily see, but it's going to make your delivery land a lot better. It's going to make your messaging a lot stronger. It's going to make you have a stronger reputation, okay? So I want you to think about, again, I'm guessing you all can kind of tell from how this is going that my answer is going to be, I highly advocate for coaching and coaching programs, but the answer is it depends on where you are in your journey, how much of a platform you've built, have you truly vetted all of the things that you teach in order to package it up into a course that's one size fits all, and if not, you can start with coaching, and with coaching, all you need is your MVP, which is your minimum viable product. With coaching programs to get started, you don't need a fancy classroom right now. You don't need fancy videos and workbooks right now. You need Acuity scheduling, Stripe, and Zoom, right? I use GoToMeeting now. I don't use Zoom anymore, but a conference line, a booking system, and Stripe. You can get started. You can service those people. You can give them an amazing experience. You can help them get goals, hit their goals, get results, get the testimonial, and keep going, keep testing, keep tweaking, keep adjusting until you strike gold. When you strike gold, then we can start talking about how can we package this up and scale it into something else, into a course, a group program, a mastermind, things like that, right? All you need is the minimum viable product. So I'm going to get ready to wrap up because I do have a coaching call. But if you want a deeper dive into this, I do have a free masterclass available for you guys. It's called How I Was Able to Attract 15 Clients in 6 Days. That class is instant access. It's not a live session. You can access it within the link in my Instagram bio or by going straight to thepowercollective.co/masterclass. In this masterclass, I'm going to give you the frameworks that I use in my business that have helped me to be able to book clients into my higher end signature programs with ease. So I want you all to check that out and then shoot me a DM. Let me know what you thought about that class. And with that, I am going to get ready for my coaching call, and I will talk to you all in the next session. Bye.